Welcome to TV2 Sports Talk on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. I'm WJER Radio Sports Director Bill Morgan, and excited this week to be at Dover City Park, where the city of Dover, along with Dover Baseball, will be hosting the State Little League Baseball Tournament for 9 and 10-year-olds coming up July 23rd through July 30th. Coming up as this week's show continues, we'll talk with Dover Baseball Commissioner Jason Hall about the specifics of the tournament, how you can come out on watch, and the teams that will be here as well. It's all a part of the State Little League Baseball Tournament for 9 and 10s being hosted here at Dover City Park and being featured this week on TV2 Sports Talk from DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable.
I think the hands-on aspect is going to give you an opportunity to explore, find out what you're good at, what you like, and you're not going to have mountains of debt. What you're going to have is a marketable skill that even if you don't love it, you can use that to pay to go on to college and get that degree. And we've got a number of students that do that. They're very mature. I think we're a great hands-on exploration base.
Taking the area by storm, Lightning Signs and Decals specializes in custom signs, banners, and graphics. We are also an authorized distributor for Mossy Oak, Browning, Realtree, and Bone Collector graphics and products, as well as a hunting and fishing license agent. Visit online at lightningsign.com or visit the storefront located at 224 7th Street in New Philadelphia.
Welcome back to TV2 Sports Talk on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. I'm Bill Morgan, and a big event coming to the city of Dover in the very near future as State Little League Tournament action will be rolling your way, and we're happy to be joined on this week's show by the Commissioner of Baseball in Dover, Jason Hall. And Jason, certainly an exciting time for everybody involved here in Dover.
It's very exciting, and we can't wait to get started.
Tell us a little bit about how you guys made this reality, 9 and 10-year-old state championship. Certainly, probably a lot of people would like to host an event like this one. How did you guys in Dover make it a reality?
Well, every year it goes district to district throughout Ohio, and we will be the first host site in Tuscarawas County ever for the Little League State Tournament. So when it was time to come back to our district, we begged and pleaded, and we were awarded the project.
And Jason, when we talk about that happening, certainly that doesn't happen if you don't have an outstanding facility. And here at Dover Baseball, you guys have made tremendous efforts over the last couple of years to upgrade what was already a good facility. Tell us a little bit about those upgrades.
Well, what we've done, as you can see behind us, we've installed new dugouts, press boxes, windscreen on the outfield fence, scoreboards on every field throughout the park. We've installed new sod on the infields on fields 1 and 6, as well as sprinkler systems.
Jason Hall, the president of Dover Baseball, our guest on TV2 Sports Talk this week. Jason, as we film this show, we don't know which teams representing their various districts will be here, but tell us how that all breaks down in terms of what date this tournament will start and how long it will last here at Dover City Park.
Well, the tournament will kick off on Saturday, July 23rd. It's a double elimination tournament, so the longer you go through the week, less teams that'll be here. There'll be teams from all over Ohio. There's 11 districts, from as far south as Wheelersburg to as far north as Maumee, Canfield area. So we'll have the state well represented. And kind of what's going on now is there's 11 districts in Ohio. Each district is going through their district tournament. So hopefully we have our fingers crossed that Dover will represent our district for our 10-year-old tournament. But each district's a little bit different on how they play their tournament per age group. For example, District 4, the 10-year-olds, they play everybody once, and then the two teams with the best record will play for a championship game. Our 11-year-olds, they play everybody twice, and the team with the best record comes out of there, plays for a championship game. Our 12-year-olds, they did a little bit different this year, not to my liking, as we suffered our first loss in 3 years in district play. So this year in the 12-year-old division, it's play everybody once, best record advances. So unfortunately, we got a loss, so we will not be advancing this time for the first time in 3 years. So we're here to root on whoever comes out as hopefully our 10 and 11-year-olds.
It is all a part of what's happening with the State Baseball Little League Tournament coming here to Dover City Park. Jason, you talked about the game dates on those dates, and I realize there's going to be more than one, but generally speaking, when will action get underway in terms of people coming out and cheering on these young men?
Well, like I mentioned, July 23rd, our first game will be at 2 o'clock on both of our fields, 1 and 6. Then there'll be a little bit of a break, and then we'll have a 6 o'clock game on Saturday as well. Sunday, we'll have double headers on both games at 3 and 6. We'll have a big opening day ceremony on Saturday. Then it's kind of neat, the city of Dover, as well as Kruglack, Wilkins, Griffith, and Doherty, they have offered to do a movie in the park on Monday night. So at dusk on Monday night, we'll have a park for anybody that wants to come out and watch a movie in the park.
All happening here at Dover City Park, hosting the State Little League Tournament. Coming up as TV2 Sports Talk rolls on this week, we'll talk with Jason Moore about the city of Dover and Dover City Park hosting that State Little League Tournament on this week's edition of TV2 Sports Talk from DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
Hi, I'm Elaine Miller with Naturally Green Cleaning Service. My company serves both commercial and residential clients. We do general cleaning, spring and fall, empty homes to get them move-in ready, and final cleans for new construction. We use eco-friendly cleaning products that leave your home or office fresh, clean, and safe for you, your family, pets, or coworkers. Our focus at Naturally Green is to provide excellent customer service paired with outstanding work to build a relationship of trust with you, our clients. Having served the area 4+ years, we have had many referrals and testimonials that you can access on our website at www.naturallygreencs.com. Our work sells itself, therefore we have never had any contracts even with our largest commercial accounts. Call us today for your free quote and see what makes our company stand out.
You're watching TV2 Sports Talk from DMG Channel 2 on Time Warner Cable. July is certainly a good time to focus on Little League Baseball as area teams are into tournaments, and Jason Hall, the Commissioner of Dover Baseball, our guest, talking about the Little League State Tournament being hosted at the fields over our shoulders here at the Dover City Park. Jason, we talk about the tournament itself, we talk about the improvements to the field, and the bottom line is, Jason, the bottom line, that doesn't happen without tremendous sponsorship and support. I know you got some people you'd like to mention in that regard.
I do. We'd really like to thank John and Bonnie Mason for their efforts in helping us upgrade our fields, as well as Dover Chemical, the City of Dover, Mayor Homerkhausen, Nikki Stold, our auditor, and Scott Gerald's the head of our Parks Department for all the work that they've put into this.
And I guess maybe dating back to a day and time, Jason, when you and I played the game, we didn't have grass in the infield. I didn't anyway, growing up in the city of Columbus. And the fields that these young guys get a chance to play on today really are far superior to what we saw 20 or 30 years ago.
Oh, you're exactly right. And it goes all the way down to their equipment and their uniforms. I can remember wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and that's what you got to go play on a dirt infield. The more these kids grow up and the younger they start, they get top-notch facilities to play on, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Now, Jason, when I played right field, and you know what that means when you play right field in Little League. I'm not on the all-star teams, but on your average everyday team, you're probably not one of the best players, and I wasn't. But Jason, we'd show up. We did have baseball pants, but we had like 3 aluminum bats in the team bag. Now everybody rolls in. Usually they've got their own equipment bag with their own bats that aren't cheap, whether you're at Dumont's in downtown Dover Dix or any of those places.
You're exactly right. Everybody in Little League now uses a composite bat. Great bats, but they tend to crack very easily. My son's currently on his 3rd one this year, and those bats are about $275 a piece.
So you're out looking for a second and a third job simply to finance your son's efforts.
You're exactly right.
Jason, tell us a little bit about, you mentioned opening day when the tournament kicks off on that Saturday, July 23rd. What will happen in addition to the games in terms of ceremonies and like?
We will have a pre-tournament briefing at 9 a.m. where all the teams from the districts throughout Ohio have to bring in their paperwork proving that these kids are the age that they say they are. And once that's all cleared, we'll go over rules for the tournament, use for these teams to practice on, whether it be our indoor facility at bases loaded or practice on, not on the game fields, but spare fields we have here at the park, and use of the cages here in the park as well.
Jason, talk about the importance of youth baseball to what happens at the higher levels. Your son Ashton graduated from Dover a year ago, played varsity baseball there for the Tornadoes, and the Tornadoes at the varsity level have certainly had some very good teams over the years. How important is what those guys accomplish on the varsity field, sort of, I guess, all beginning at this level?
Well, Little League's really a basis, or youth baseball in general is a basis to develop your fundamentals. That's one less thing a varsity coach has to work on at that level. But the biggest thing that Little League provides, I think, is memories. I know a lot, my son included, and a lot of the kids that we've talked to, they said those were the best playing days of their lives, playing Little League baseball against their buddies, those big games and stuff like that. But you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been a great experience for me and my family and my boys, and I hate to see it come to an end.
Jason Hall, the commissioner of Dover Baseball, our guest on TV2 Sports Talk this week on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. And Jason, although you are a relatively young guy, younger than me anyway, you were telling me as we started to film this show, this is your last year as commissioner of Dover Baseball and your last year of coaching. Now, I was sort of surprised to hear these numbers. How many years have you coached your sons and in how many games?
I've coached 13 years in Dover baseball. Now, some of those years I would coach one of Dover's rec teams for maybe my older son, and then a travel team for one of my younger sons. 13 years, the best that we can guess is a little over 700 games.
That's a lot of I'm no mathematical genius, but that's a lot of baseball.
A lot of baseball, and I tell you what, it was really hard for me as a father and just a guy that loves baseball to walk off that field last night with a dry eye, because it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Jason Hall, our guest, as we talk Dover baseball from Dover City Park. Dover getting ready to host the Little League tournament. Now, Jason, when we talk about the tournament itself and you sort of break that down for us, the teams that will play for the championship, how long will that take? How many games will they play, depending upon double elimination and things along those lines?
Tournament-wide, it's going to be a 22-game schedule. So the best thing you want to do is get in that winner's bracket, because then usually you win your first 2 games, then you have a day off in between. If you get in that loser's bracket, you're going to play every day. Unfortunately, that happened to us last year. We lost on a Friday in the state tournament, or I'm sorry, on a Thursday, had to come back and play Friday, and then had to come back and beat Canfield twice for the state championship. It's doable, but you better have a lot of pitching. So stay in that winner's bracket.
Well, and Jason, you talk about the pitching, sort of educate, if you will, as we wrap up this part of our conversation. You talk about needing a lot of pitching. This is not like a scenario where you can throw your number one guy out there every game until his arm falls off. Little League rules are sort of such that you want to preserve and protect those young men's arms, so they're limited to so many pitches per a certain set of days.
You're exactly right. These young men can only throw 75 pitches per day. And if you do that, you have to have 4 days rest. So you don't want to go out and blow your number one on the first day. And as a coaching standpoint, you have to decide, like in that first inning, hey, how are things going? Is this guy on? Do I throw him 20 and then I can bring him back the next day? Do I throw him 35? He's got to have 1 day's rest. So the more pitchers you have, the better. And coaching becomes really important as far as tracking those pitchers.
You never realized you had to be a mathematical genius to coach Little League baseball, but you sort of do, keeping track of pitch counts and many, many more things. We'll come back and talk more with Jason from the beautiful site that is the Dover City Park as they get ready to host the State Little League Tournament when TV2 Sports Talk rolls on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars were cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not
we're not shining stars. This I know,
I never said we are.
if you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
Just wanting to be a police officer, I knew this was a great start, and it turned out to be a fantastic one.
Just be able to actually see what you're doing, what you're working on, and understand how you can take one thing and turn it into something else.
We got to creatively use skills and academics and see how we can place them into our fields.
It was pretty much I had the key to open the door, and that was from Buckeye.
The Dover City Park on the north side of Dover hosting the State Little League Tournament coming up in just about a week and a half, talking with the commissioner of Dover Baseball, Jason Hall. And Jason, a little bit earlier on in the show, we were mentioning some people who were in businesses that were key components to really improving the fields. You had another organization you wanted to mention, sort of helping to bring all this together, especially for the people coming in from out of town.
You're exactly right. The Tuscarawas County Visitors Bureau, they've kind of stepped up and put together a packet to where people have an option of where to stay locally as far as that goes, because teams are going to be coming from anywhere from 2 to 4 hours away. And also, each team that shows up here on that Saturday morning, they will be given basically a bucket with 11 to 13 bags in it of gifts and novelty items for every kid that plays in this tournament. And it's just going to be a very community-based event to where everybody feels welcome and they can experience a little bit of Dover baseball.
Jason, having had kids that have played in these tournaments, having coached in these tournaments, let's sort of break down the X's and O's in terms of trying to win one of these bad boys over a week span. What's it like down in the dugout when you've got these kids? And a lot of these kids haven't necessarily played together all year, sort of all-star teams, if you will, from their various communities. Any tricks in trying to get them to play together in terms of that regard?
Well, the biggest thing is, like I mentioned earlier, you have to have a pretty good staff of pitching to make it through this thing. And the other thing is how to manage substitutions. You know, when one kid goes in for the other, they're married together for that game, so they can only sub for those two kids. And the biggest thing is, you know, especially on our fields now with the new sod and the grass, there's going to be a lot of small ball or bunting played here. And I don't know, it's just kids being kids. They get fired up, and the biggest thing to control is don't let them too high or don't let them get too low.
Now, you talked about having coached your final game, because I've known Jason for quite some time. He does some football and basketball broadcasting work with us at WJER Radio. Now, you have a daughter. Is there any chance somewhere down the road you get into coaching softball?
Boy, I don't know. That's tough. I love going to watch her play. I do. But all that cheering and chanting and screaming and hollering, that I make it through one inning pretty good. After that, it gets pretty rough.
There you have it. So certain inherent challenges, if you will, between the games of baseball and softball. Jason, if folks want to come out and watch these games as the tournament rolls along, is there an admission charge, or will it cost to park? How do things like that play out?
No admission charge, no cost to park. I'd be careful where you park. A lot of foul balls coming, a lot of, we call them R100 windshields in Dover Park. But feel free to come out. It's great baseball. I know it sounds like these are just little 9, 10-year-old kids. These kids can play. And it's very competitive, and year-round, you know, you always have a Dover team there. Westside Hamilton's a perennial power. They've had teams go on to the Little League World Series as 12-year-olds. Canfield's always there. Maumee, Wheelersburg. So they're coming from all over Ohio. It's good baseball.
Now, we talked about how you coach up the players. One of the things that I hear pretty consistently when talking with coaches, whether it's at the high school level, the Little League level, or somewhere in between, sometimes you may have more challenges, is the word we'll use, with the parents than you do with the players. At the beginning of the year, when you sit down maybe with a regular season team or a travel team you're coaching, Jason, anything you and the coaches in the area might say to the parents to try and sort of corral that in before the season gets underway?
Well, we enjoy their excitement, But whenever parents start getting on, not usually the kids, but umpires, it kind of deflects the kids' focus on what they're actually supposed to be doing. So we really tell our parents, if there's a bad call, let us coaches handle it. We don't want the kids involved in it. Just keep it between the coaches and the umpires, and we've never had any trouble at Dover as long as I've been coaching.
Jason, if folks want information on the tournament, how can they track that down, whether that be contacting you or other people involved with Dover baseball?
They can contact me either through the Dover Baseball website. It's an e-teams website. If you just Google Dover Baseball Ohio, it'll take you up there. It'll give you information on the state tournament. Or you can contact the City of Dover Parks Department, and they can put you in touch with me.
It is all a part of Dover baseball and the city of Dover hosting State Little League Tournament. Jason, one more time, if you would, as we wrap up, sort of break down the age brackets that will be here, the number of games that will be played, and the dates for the tournament.
Well, the age bracket is going to be 9 and 10-year-olds. The dates will be July 23rd through the 30th. There will be 22 games played here total. As we go through the week, it'll be less amount of games because teams will be going home from suffering their second loss. But we look for a fun week. We hope the rain stays away a couple weeks longer, but should be a great event.
Jason, certainly we appreciate your time. It's great for the city of Dover, great for Tuscarawas County. Thanks for the efforts of you guys and everybody that's behind you.
Well, thank you for having me out, and we appreciate your support.
It's all a part of TV2 Sports Talk this week, focusing in on Little League Baseball. As you heard Jason mention, the state tournament for 9 and 10s being played here at the Dover City Park, July 23rd through the 30th. You've been watching TV2 Sports Talk on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.